Motion to approve the Weber subdivision plan 1. This was tabled on 1/10/2024 at their request, correct? DJ?
It was tabled previously per their request, but I believe Mr. Higgins and his client are here tonight,
Okay.
to
So
discuss it.
I will make a motion to take it off the table. Any second? So that, Larry second. Roll call to take it off the table? Okay, you're off the table.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So, we're back in front looking for approval on the Webster Properties LLC subdivision plan number 1. We had requested a table back in January, because we thought maybe a new tenant was coming in that may have adjusted our proposed, lot lines for this plan number 1, but for lot number 1. So we decided we'd pause, make sure we're not gonna adjust lot 1 and kind of restart the application again. That tenant hasn't, come to fruition yet, so we're just gonna move forward with lot 1 at the moment. So I updated the plan, sent a response letter. I believe we've addressed all the comments from the engineer's letter dated December 12th, and we're here looking for approval.
You can close that door, yeah.
This
There
way?
you,
No,
there you
why don't you,
go.
yeah, just pull it that way, cause you have people up there.
We'll move the podium over there.
Yeah.
There's someone watching the
I
meeting
did
from the
not want to see
hallway.
this handsome man at the end.
Talk to you.
Thank you.
TJ, are there any, what needs to be done?
Yeah, so, going off of what Keith mentioned there, Bankson, received this application, I believe, at the end of November. This went before the planning commission in December. Received a favorable recommendation with, a few conditions, which, I have a copy of the December planning commission meeting minutes here. As Keith mentioned, they sort of put this on pause temporarily. Keith had asked that we hold off on really doing any more review work pending the possibility that this may change in some fashion. So yesterday, Bankson received the revised drawing from Keith as well as his response letter today. I did take a look at it today. I think Keith's group has addressed many of the comments that remain, or that were on our original letter. There is no surveyor seal on this drawing yet, which, you know, I tend to think that should be on the drawing at the time of receiving any final approval from a municipality, but so that's an unresolved item. I did have maybe a general question about the 30-foot access easement that goes in between lot 2R and lot 1. At this time, Keith, correct me if I'm wrong, but your client owns both parcels, and that, I guess in the immediate future that is intended to remain the case, but the lot 1 access driveway is proposed through an easement in the rear of the property. There's no access off of Route 88. So I know there's a shared access agreement in place with Tractor Supply, but I think it would be prudent to have a shared access agreement for the lot 2R and lot 1 as well, in the event that in the future there is a different owner of one or both of those parcels and the ownership is not held by the same person.
I agree with that.
That's a concern.
I would agree with that as well, and that access easement would be generated if at the time of the sale.
You mean the shared access? I mean, we could do it. We could do it now.
What's that?
It's the same owner for both parcels.
I would, people forget things.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, I think you could do a shared access agreement for the two parcels that, you know, binds the future owners, heirs, and assigns. In the event that it changes hands, and that could be something that could be recorded now as well.
I just think it must get it done, get it done over.
I mean, so if it's an agreement with two parties and there's gonna be back and forth, so I say, I would suggest that let the two parties hash out the arrangements of an access easement, because right now it's the same owner for two parcels. We're not gonna be able to record, the access easement, we're calling out an easement on the plan. And of course, any potential owner will ask for, and then who's gonna maintain it, who's gonna plow it.
We have that problem somewhere else right now.
So I understand that, but,
Exact same situation happened with Pittsburgh Powder Coat. The gentleman, whoever the property owner has the property and the property in which the driveway sits. And the shared access agreement was executed now.
Even though we
For
own both.
both parcels. It's a fail-safe in the future in case ownership were to change hands and you avoid any conflicts at that time.
All right, I agree with
Just a suggestion.
TJ on that.
The other item on my list, obviously, we need a contingency that that Peters Creek Sanitary Authority, has reviewed and is comfortable with the
sure,
proposed, sewer
Okay.
facilities as well.
Have you done that?
it's in their hands now, yes.
All right, so also understand, besides those conditions, anything else, TJ? Your concerns?
I don't believe so, Dennis. The planning commission, conditions are here. I don't know if we need to state those or not.
We make the motion, I think they should be put in the record.
Okay.
Now, I have a question, Mr. Dupree, is there any money owed by this developer?
He would know that
Yes.
on this particular one.
Who's
not
he?
me. Larry would know that one, he looked at this one. I
Yeah,
didn't
look
look
it
at
up,
this particular.
There were several $1,000s in the hole from the escrow that was posted. I get the details if you like. It looks like about $2,900 at this point, and I don't know if I have all his invoices. Is there a need for any study from PennDOT on all the traffic that's gonna occur on 88? I'm just curious. With the housing development, not that Tractor Supply booms all the time, but I don't know what they're gonna put in there. Maybe it'd be a Rita's. I don't know.
So I think maybe Keith or Mr. Weber could speak to this, but there was a PennDOT introductory scoping meeting, which took place very shortly after I became township engineer last year.
Okay.
And you're absolutely right. Traffic concerns are important, especially along 88, and I think certainly that would be something that is investigated fully as part of the land development review process. At this time, it's my understanding that they, Keith and his client and their consulting engineer that they're working with are making adjustments to their land development plan, which remains on the table at the planning commission level.
Okay.
And a full traffic study would be something that's taken care of during the
I'm
land
just,
development process.
if you go through that area in the summertime with there's a lineup of the Dairy Queen.
Yes,
What if Chick-fil-A put something in there? Can you imagine what that line's gonna be like on 88? I'm just asking a question.
yeah.
I don't have any answers.
Keith, can you speak to that at all, as to where they stand with traffic?
I don't know what you're
planning
gonna
for-
put.
Yeah, either do I have no idea what's
Yeah.
going in there. Right now, the only thing on the table is a car wash.
Okay.
That's the only thing on the table.
Was there some, easements or right of ways or something that's not on this one that was on the former one?
Correct, we added, the 20-foot wide, utility easement along, Route 88 and Hidden Hollow Road. That was a condition from the engineer's letter, and then the right-of-way dedication language is added to the plan as well, that we deeded to death on multiple meetings.
So, this again was, I believe, a comment on our land. So, we've completed a concurrent review of the land development plan, which shows the layout for the proposed car wash that Keith is alluding to. That plan application is not, on the docket for consideration by the supervisors now. It has not been favorably recommended by the planning commission at this time. So really, we're dealing only with the subdivision plan application, which establishes the lot lines for the proposed lot that they're discussing now. The land development drawings indicated that there were some, I think they were federal taking type of easements that may also impact that parcel, and I believe those were noted on the land development.
Federal taking?
I believe so.
Federal taking easement.
There was
And it never showed up on this plan.
no, it was on a different one.
Okay, so this is the only plan in front of you tonight. There's no federal easement on this survey. That may be a hangover from Mineral Beach and Walter Long Road.
I don't have the land development drawings here, I only have the subdivision.
Yeah.
I saw your land development drawings and I'm like,
They're not,
I
they're not mine,
remembered
they're
seeing,
not my land development.
not yours, sorry, theirs, I'm sorry.
No, there was the only thing that was added was adjusted, because there is already an established 10-foot wide easement along 88 and Hidden Valley, or Hidden Hollow Road. Your township ordinance wanted that to be 20 feet. We went back and forth, our client said there's no problem with the 20 feet. That's the only discussion, and we did discuss the 30-foot wide access easement, and that was referenced back to the land development plans, and that does meet your ordinance for interior road. So that's the only two
Service
conversations
street
we had.
or something.
Yeah, you'd have to get an HOP for PennDOT. All right,
And maybe that's something that
I just want to landlock some of
Is on the-
back.
needs to be contemplated during the land development as well, but.
so Michelle raised a good point. So there's gonna be an easement off of the Tractor Supply,
That's right.
road, correct?
So that easement's to Tractor Supply, not to our lot.
No, I'm talking about, you have some type of, how does,
The question I asked him is, do they have any frontage to get out on 88? And he said they'd have to get an HOP, and what I said was, I would hate to landlock them if we don't get an easement over here, because then there's no way to here, and then you're just,
I guess.
We don't need Tractor Supply for an easement.
no, I
No,
said
we're
this
talking-
easement behind the store, if we don't get the easement going over to Tractor Supply's driveway, then we kinda quasi landlock this lot number one.
Right, and that's why I think the shared access is important, Michelle, because right now, Mr. Weber owns both the pieces of property there, but if that changes in the future and there becomes an issue with that 30-foot easement, then you're absolutely right, there's no feasible access
Let's
to
be
lot one.
landlocked.
Right. And it has frontage, but there's no,
That's what we talked before about having shared access.
I think that's important, yes.
We have the shared access already in place with Tractor Supply, and TJ has a copy of that.
We do,
Um,
because that driveway's on your property, not on Tractor
correct.
Supply.
Yeah, so it's the easement to Tractor Supply.
Right.
So it's our driveway.
This easement.
Really?
Yes, sir.
But then you need this to get to there.
All right.
The shared access for the 30-foot, we'll call it a service street that comes off of Tractor Supply's driveway to their proposed lot, I think is important as part of this
So,
consideration.
all right, so if we craft the motion, we're gonna have to craft the motion with the recommendations of the township engineer. Plus, we're gonna put, your client's gonna have to comply with all township ordinances, rules, and regulations, and so forth. Plus, we're gonna have to make sure that, the third part of the motion will be that your client pays any and all outstanding reasonable engineering fees within 15 days of receipt of that, a letter from the township. Is your client willing to do that?
Can I comment on that?
Sure.
So we haven't got a bill.
I know, but I was,
Okay, so-
Mr. Spears was beating me up before the meeting began, saying I need You need to get people to start paying, which is a good thing to do. Is Mr. Weber here at all?
Yes, he is.
Mr. Weber,
Yes,
do you have any problem paying the outstanding engineering fees to the township?
I didn't even know I had outstanding fees because nothing was ever sent to me.
You'll get something short, because I,
But how can they be considered outstanding if I never got them?
I'm just using the word outstanding.
I mean, well, that's how it was said in the record, that's the only reason why I
No,
asked.
I'm just saying there's,
It's just a cost
If
of
you just say
safety escrow
unpaid
laws.
or.
Unpaid.
Yeah.
I'll pay it right now.
Outstanding, yeah.
No, it's just an, for
Would,
negative.
it would be nice to get an itemized bill, for sure.
Absolutely.
I agree with
and
you.
Mr. Spears brings up a good point. A lot of municipalities just let things slide and forget about it,
So
so.
those fees, if we're in the rears for 2,900, and we've already paid 1,000,
I can
That's
provide
kind
you
of
with the
expensive.
detail.
Well, you got scoping meetings with PennDOT and stuff that happened, like TJ said the first week that he worked here, first month that he worked here, things like that.
but that wasn't on the subdivision plan.
We were saying Weber outstanding fees, not
Oh.
necessarily on the
Yeah,
subdivision.
so if you can
plan, yeah.
itemize them and separate them out
Absolutely. You
to
deserve that.
what
And
consultant
again, not that he didn't wanna
owes
pay
those
it, they haven't been built. so,
Sure, yeah,
so
no,
it's not-
there's no issues
I don't
there.
wanna imply that he's been paid.
No
or
issues
something.
paying bills.
So, if someone wants to make, TJ, what needs to be complied with from your perspective?
Sorry, can I interject one, just on your first comment?
Yeah.
You'll never see a signed plan from me on a planning meeting or supervisor's meeting. I'll sign the plan when it's done. When you guys are satisfied, I'm satisfied. I don't want 20 signed plans of different iterations out there. So I appreciate your comment, and it's a valid comment, but I only sign the final plan. And most consultants will do that.
Well,
Well, he just always suggests,
Sure,
Yes, it's signed, yes,
it's a valid
Yeah.
comment, but that's why it's not signed. It's gonna change
he's just
again.
warning us, like, when the time comes, make sure we're signing one that you signed first.
Oh,
That's all.
absolutely, yeah.
any other comments, sir? Alright. So TJ, so what items need to be resolved by the weapon?
Well, the, Mr. Higgins' seal and signatures, outstanding. The shared access agreement for lot 1, I believe it's lot 2R. Is that what we're calling it, Keith?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's item 2, Dennis. Item 3 would be Peters Creek Sanitary Authority approval.
Approval. Okay,
Let me just cross-reference the planning commission list here. Mr. Higgins has addressed the planning commission's comments, so
Please,
that's all. Paying outstanding fees.
alright, so basically, is there a motion to approve the Weber Properties LLC subdivision plan number 1, subject to the following conditions? 1, that the drawing be signed and sealed by the engineer. 2, that there be a,
Surveyor.
I'm sorry, I'm, a survey, I apologize, you're pretty much the same thing anyway. That there be a shared access agreement, as we talked about. That there be an ECSA approval. That the development, the Weber comply with any and all township rules and regulations, which is standard. And the final condition is that the Webers shall pay within 15 days of receipt of an invoice from the township for the outstanding unpaid engineering fees, whichever word you wanna use, unpaid engineering fees incurred by the township for this development.
I have one thing I'd like to clean up,
Okay,
the shared access thing. There is already shared access, so it's kinda messy. Yeah, the shared access from lot whatever to through whatever.
alright,
Like
so
you
as,
said, there's already shared access. but
so what,
it's applied.
alright, so basically we'll add that language to there, because we'll put that in the motion also. And really, until that bill is paid, this approval will not be, this recommendation for approval will not be finalize or consummate till those bills are paid. You understand that?
When we get the invoice, we'll pay.
I'm just saying, that as part of that, the bills need to be paid, until those bills are paid,
Absolutely.
this, approval is not granted, conditional approval. You understand that?
I'll talk to her tomorrow, she's in case.
Mr. Weber, do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. So that's your motion, Mr.?
We'll make the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Carl, any second?
I'll second.
Second by Sean. For good talk, no other discussion? Okay, all in favor?